You are live. Man. Man. Happy Saturn's Day, people. I know y'all out there acting like you're in the quarantine. But we know what's really going on. We know y'all ain't quarantining no more. We know what's happening. We know what's up. Don't believe them damn COVID numbers. They ain't telling you the truth. Man, wait for a few more people to fall on in. What up? What's good, y'all? Man, had to start the Saturday off right, break off this little information. Since we're getting close to this election, we need to understand what's what and what we need to be doing on a collective and individual basis, and especially what you need to be calling yourself and where you need to be going from this point on. America is changing, it's moving into a whole new era. And where do you fall into that new place? You better figure it out, because that shit is coming, boy. You niggas is in the calm before the storm. Y'all niggas is chilling at home, but wait till they flip this shit. It's gonna... What up, Tish? They gonna flip this shit, and then y'all gonna really see. That nigga Captain was right. God damn it. So before we start on with this one, though, I want to talk about the last video that I did real quick, which was the Wall Street Federal Reserve. What up, Atlanta? The Wall Street Federal Reserve conspiracy. Man, y'all was sleeping on that one. I know that's some big information. It may be a little hard for y'all to understand, but you got to get into it, because those are the people who own you. Not me. You. So y'all better understand what's going on. If you don't understand the totality of the game, you'll never know how to play the game properly to your advantage. So you need to know every aspect of how the game works. I mean, and it is a game. You can be emotional and upset about it if you want to, but it's a game that's been played throughout time. Who gonna be on top? You know what I'm saying? It's you ever play that board game Risk? There's a board game called Risk, and it's about who can conquer as much land as possible. That's the whole name of the game. Who can take over the most land in the world? And so that's been since the beginning of time. So melanated people, you are involved. You were the creators of that. Let me go on over there and see what this nigga got going. And if he don't got going what I like, I'm about to take his shit. Yeah, that was us. So we need to figure out what's going to go down in this new world order, or in this one world order that they're trying to implement. And where do you fall in that place? Because they're when they set this shit off, you're gonna have to have a position. And if you are still in the same position as you were when this shit was, you're still black and all the rest of that, these sub-statuses, you're gonna be fucked. So, about to get in that today. As you see the title, MOOR, Aboriginal, ADOS, Black Lives Matter, FBA, which is Foundational Black Americans, 14th Amendment citizens. What's what? And what are you? Which one should you be? Where should you be? So we're about to get into all of that. Real quick, before I get into most of that stuff, as you saw on the thumbnail, I told you about these last time. These are Terry Stop masks. I got these in. So these are in the store, but for people who order the Police Stop Law Package, if you order any one of the law packages or the Great Book of Melanin Research, I'm going to throw this in for free. So if you can see what that says right there, it says, you need reasonable, articulable suspicion, Officer Terry versus Ohio. All right. That's a Supreme Court case. Terry versus Ohio says that police officers cannot walk up to you and harass you or engage in criminal investigation without reasonable articulable suspicion, meaning they need to be able to articulate if you had committed a crime, about to commit a crime, or are committing a crime now or about to commit a crime. If they cannot do that, you don't have to answer any of their questions. You don't even have to talk to them. So most of you don't know that though. And they walk up and they know you don't know that. So they just immediately begin to instigate the investigation or engage in the investigation. Well, what's your name? What's your ID? Give me your ID. Back and forth. You know, and you so scared you don't know that you don't have to answer any of those questions. Well, here you go, goddammit. I'm tired of y'all goddamn excuses. All right, if you got to be outside with a mask, be outside with this mask right here. It says it right there. You need reasonable, articulable suspicion, officer. Also have these on t-shirts. If you want to go to the Reelnagas.com, the store, these are also on t-shirts. So this is called the Terry Stop Collection on the Reelnagas, in the Reelnagas store. You can wear this mask, you can wear the shirt, and if you outside, this automatically lets the police officer know that they can't fuck with you unless they have a lawful reason to be stopping you, which most of them do not. 9 out of 10 stops with melanated people, they don't actually have a reason to stop you. They just make you think that, and then you go ahead and you acquiesce to it, which means you just give up and don't say anything, you don't challenge it, and then that makes the stop legal. So, goddamn it, here it is. Terry Stop Mask. I don't want to hear no more shit. All right. So, MOOR, Aboriginal, ADOS, all the rest of them damn alphabets. I want to throw them in with the other alphabet people, but you know, all these goddamn letters that everybody want to throw them behind their name. Not that that's a bad thing. You want a designation. You want some type of legal designation. But what is it? What do you want? What do you want to be? What do you need to be? And what's the best one? So first thing, you know, you guys hear me talk about is Moors, and I talk about Aboriginals. And I get, you know, people all the time asking me, you know, yo, peace more. And we are Moors, we are Aboriginals. Do you ask me, and then you come and ask me which one am I more? I am both. Just like I'm a dragon and I'm a phoenix, those two things go together. So what are Moors and Aboriginals, or are they the same? So MOOR, you know, most people think that there was an actual Moorish empire. There was no actual Moorish empire or under the MOOR name. There were Islamic empires, you know, and they were under different clans. So, but there was the overall name which the world, other than ourselves, other than or non-melanated people, the word that they had for them was MOOR, which only meant dark. It used to be swart or swarthy, which also means dark, which does not mean black. Please, we need to understand this. It does not mean black. Black is a legal status, which means slave. This is a very important thing. That's why I'm making this video today, because y'all got to get this shit under your goddamn skin and understand you need to drop the goddamn term black. It is going to kill you. Legally. I understand it make you feel good, nigga, black and I'm proud, nigga, I'm black, nigga, look at my beautiful black skin, but it feels great and all of that bullshit, yeah. But legally, it is a status that will kill you. It does not exist legally. That's what you're saying. So we're about to get into this. So Aboriginal or MOOR, okay? So we got the Moors. MOOR is only a universal term that we all had around the world. Whenever we pulled up on somebody, we were Moors. We were the darkies. if you seen Boondocks, you know, and you seen Uncle Ruckus, he whatever his name is, he darkies, hey darkies. That's what we were, the darkies. We were dark skinned. All right, that's all MOOR meant. It was not an actual empire. So, but most people have a misconception that it was an empire, or they get it from the term the Almorak or Morocco. And the term goes back all the way to Tamore. Okay, it means the dark land. All right, because the rich soil in the land, the rich fertile soil, is where that name comes from. So it goes all the way back, way before Morocco. Anybody, and don't be coming talking crazy to me. This ain't no emotional stuff behind it. It's just knowledge. I ain't emotional behind none of this stuff. I ain't attached to any of it. As far as if it can't help me. I'm only teaching you this stuff because whatever can help you. If whatever can help you, pick and choose from it, throw the rest away. I don't give a shit what you attached to. I'm just breaking off knowledge, information. So, again, MOOR was just a term for the dark people because it came from the dark land, right? The rich soil, tamore, more, it's dark, right? So, again, there was no empire. However, most people were aboriginals to every land. See, aboriginal, and say most people call them natives. And so there's a difference between the term native. And this is the reason you don't necessarily want to use the term native legally. You can use the term native colloquially, you know, just an everyday term, because native just means to be born from somewhere, right? I'm native, I'm born to that land. So this is why you see I'll have a Native American shirt. But legally, you don't ever want to be called native because the term native, if I can get to it, hold on. So the term native is a natural born subject or citizen, a denizen by birth, one who owes his domicile or citizenship to the fact of his birth within a country referred to. So I want you to take very, very carefully. So it says a natural born subject or citizen. Okay, subject and citizen mean the two same things. That means you are inferior. Subject means you are inferior to someone else. That's what native means. When you put native in the front of your name, it means you're subject or inferior. The term subject means to be inferior to something else. All right. So Native American, not the legal term you want to have. So Aboriginals, though, were they? So everywhere around the world where you see which people call Native Americans, they're Aboriginal, all right? Aboriginal means first in time. So if you're Native American, you can be born to the land. Anyone can be native to a certain place, to a certain landmass. Anybody. So just so you know that. However, not everybody can be Aboriginal. Aboriginal means to be first from that land. That's very important terms. Native, Aboriginal, two different things. You can be native, but there's very few people who can be Aboriginal. Okay, there are very few people who are first in time to that land. So, but are they the same people? This is the thing. So around the world, were the Aboriginals, or people what they call Indians in America, excuse me, were they the same people? So we're gonna look at ancient and modern Britons. I've got a few books I'm gonna refer to y'all today. Ancient and Modern Britons, this is book 1, all right? So if y'all get this will be on page 46, all right, at the bottom. So this is Ancient and Modern Britons was written by David McRitchie, a Caucasian British dude in the 1800s, breaking down the history, the indigenous histories of most of the countries in the world, and how they all go back to Moors. Okay, he breaks this down and how the term Moor and where it comes from, and MOR, and how Moor, all of these terms. I've talked about this book many a time. Y'all know this book. If you haven't read this book, you are sleeping. You're not really trying to learn some shit. This Caucasian was breaking this shit down in the 1800s, telling you he was a Caucasian, telling you that my lineage is Moors. His name is Mac. If you look at this book, it talks about names with people with the last name Mac from Ireland being Moors or McDouglas or anything like that, which is why we called ourselves the Mac. You think that's a coincidence that we call ourselves Mac, and then the word Mac goes all the way back to Moors? That is not a coincidence. This is your history. You have been doing this, and then David McRitchie, the Caucasian British dude who is in the Moor lineage, came back and said, "Yo, this is my people." I'm one of y'all. So go get this book. But in this book, they give an account of when some New English colonists got to America. So he wrote, this is his memoir, or his accounts of when he got to the Americas, and they had a little fight with some of the natives here. So listen to what they said. So we're talking about our are Aboriginals or Native Americans and Moors the same people, right? Because we got to get that, we got to understand this, because we separating shit all the damn time. So it says, in a brief narrative of the encounters between the early colonists of New England, and the native Indians, I find it stated that these unfortunate gentlemen were intercepted by 700 Moors. 700 Moors. He just used the term Indian and Moor interchangeably. Remember, he says, in a brief narrative of the encounters between the early colonists of New England and the native Indians, I find it stated that these unfortunate gentlemen were intercepted by 700 Moors, with whom they fought for the space of 4 hours, till not only they two, but Captain Sharp and 51 Christians more lay dead upon the place. And again, that at Woodstock, 10 miles from Sinnock, on the 16th of May, was a little skirmish betwixt the Moors and the Christians, wherein there was of the latter 3 slain and 2 wounded, and only 2 Indians killed. So remember, he just used again, where he says there was a little skirmish betwixt the Moors and the Christians. Moors and the Christians, that was the colonists. And then he said how many were slain, by where there were, wherein there was of the latter 3 slain, 3 Christians were killed. Of the latter, 3 Moors were slain, and 2 women, and only 2 Christians. So, and only 2 Indians killed. So, of the latter, there were 3 Christians slain and only 2 Indians killed. So again, he's using the term Moor and Indian interchangeably. This is people who came to the Americas. This is a actual documentation of a captain who came to America and called Indians and Moors the same thing. So why is that important? Because you got a lot of different movements going on right now. Again, you got the reparations movement going on, Black Lives Matter, which Black Lives Matter is not necessarily an organization. You got ADOS, you got Foundational Black Americans. Then you do have the Aboriginals. Oh, appreciate you. Then you do have the Aboriginals, and then you got the Moors. Now, the Moors have been doing this probably the longest out of all of these, right? Aboriginals too. You have the Aboriginal movement has been happening for a minute too. But the Moors have been doing this the longest, out of anybody. And their claim goes back to, the fact that America used to be Al-Marak. This is what they call it. Al-Marak was once a part of the Empire of Morocco. Okay, and so then they claim that they're under Moroccan citizenship. They claim the Moroccan flag, Moroccan citizenship, and they also claim that their their title or their status is locked up under the Treaty of Peace and Friendship. All right, so I want to get into this. So I want to break this down. I have this all written down in pieces, so I want to make sure I get all this. So the Moors being coming from, or them believing that America was owned by Morocco, or Morocco, there is no documentation that ever was. Now, if you can find it, please send it to me, because I've been doing this for 25 years and haven't found it. And I looked for it, and when I jumped into it, that's what I was first into. But I have never found that. Now, there is not that that won't help you. I'm about to show you how the Moors, how that can also help you. If you do try to claim Moroccan citizenship, that is a way to help you. I'm about to break that shit down of how you can. That is a way for you to subvert the American status. That is a way for you to do something. Now, the Aboriginals, again, as we just broke down, Aboriginal means first in time, from the land. So most of you believe that you were slaves, and this is where this ADOS comes in, or Foundational Black Americans. And I'll say this for the Foundational Black American, which was shout out to Tariq Nasheed. you know, he put that together, you know, a few months ago, you know, breaking down how in both, and I'll say this for the concepts of both ADOS and foundational Black Americans, the premise of what they're built on is right. Because basically what they're saying is the melanated people here are different from people who immigrate over here, and they all get lumped together. And so when America, you know, starts to handing out all the money or the programs, the people who are here, the melanated people who are or who are here first, or who they believe that were slaves, excuse me, or who built America, they don't get anything because they all get lumped in with minorities from the other countries, right? Which is true. That is absolutely true. But this is because you don't understand the status game. If y'all don't understand how governments and countries and systems work, and you don't understand civics, and you got to understand these histories, how these cities were built, what they're built on. They're built off the feudal system. You're in an amalgamation of so many different types of systems. The Roman law system, the Phoenician law system, and the British law system. You're an amalgamation of those three systems. And if you don't understand any of those things, you're going to be fucked. Roman, Phoenician, British. These are the three systems that are running America right now. Most of the world, pretty much. Roman, again, so go look these up. Go study these systems. Roman, Phoenician, British. Okay? And so if you don't understand what you got from Britain is the feudal system. All right? From the king all the way to the peasant. Goes kings, lords, knights, serfs, then peasants. This is how it's stacked. And if you don't understand that class system, you're gonna be left behind. You don't understand the rules to the game. How many of y'all, I've said this analogy before, but how many of y'all play spades and then you go to somebody's house and they got a rule where where the two of diamonds or the two of hearts is big joker or something like that, or it's the wild card. Okay, and then you go down and you playing and you don't know that. You at the house and you throw down like an ace of diamonds or a king of diamonds or something like that, and then somebody else throws down, a two, and they cut your card, and you be like, yo, how you win that? That's because beforehand the rule was twos are wild. If you didn't know that, that's your fault. Nobody told you to play the game and not learn the rules. You in my house, that means you need to learn my rules. And all of you are trying to integrate into the federal system, this bullshit federal system, then you don't know the goddamn rule. How the fuck you gonna think you gonna take advantage of that damn system if you don't know the rules? What the fuck? That's idiotic. You hoping to get lucky. Like this is Vegas or something. Fuck that. You have to learn the goddamn rules to the game, then you can begin to manipulate the system. So again, you people, as far as being aboriginal, you people who are aboriginals and trying to and separating those things, either you're going to be within that system and learn those rules, or you're going to be outside of that system and take advantage of your true status. So what is that? What is that? All right, classes system. This is what the whole shit is built off. It's built off of class. Where do you fall into that? All right, if you're talking about ADOS, foundational Black Americans, again, it's built off a great premise, but the law of it is not on sound ground. Because why? Black in law means you're not real. So you can't be foundational and not real at the same time. Those two things don't go. Now, if he was like foundational Aboriginal Americans, then boom, he on and running. But that very term black, that legally places you in a subjugated category, a subdivision, a minority division of status that will leave you in a place where you can't get anything. Foundational Black American, ADOS, American descendants of slaves. Again, it's built off the same premise. We were here, we built America, so we should be first in all the benefits that we get from that system. But again, You're asking for that system. You're asking handouts from that system that enslaved you. This is a system that basically took your whole shit. They took your land. But you're going back to them and asking for some handouts. Yo, can I get, I know, I know it's my house. I know it's my house. But can I get that little piece of bread that your son left on the table? I know you took over my house. You and your family. It's my house. But you and your family live in it. Y'all sleep in my bed. Y'all use my bathroom. Y'all cook in my kitchen. I just want to know, can I get that little piece of bread your son left on the table over there? Because I'm hungry. That's what you're doing. It's your fucking house. So American descendants of slaves, that's still legally, again, everything is based off the law. Legally, it places you in a subdivision. American descendants of slaves is too broad because there are many more slaves than just melanated people in America. White people, Caucasian, or white, legally white, but Caucasian people were the first slaves here. So if you're going to give money back, if you're going to have that and give reparations back, they get the first money. Again, that's told in this book. They were white and they were slaves. Okay? The untold history of the enslavement of whites in early America. So they're going to get some money first or two as well with you. It's, again, you have to understand there's so much nuance. This shit is not black and white. This shit is literally a multitude of colors and frequencies that you have to be able to dig into and break down when you're trying to go and get to talking about reparations, which again, the term reparations means to return to one's own land. Return to one's own land. That is the true etymology of reparations. So that means if you were Aboriginal, that's the only way that you can truly get reparations. Give me my land back. That's what a reparation, to be repaired, right? From what was taken. But if you were a slave, you never had anything. You never had anything to be repaired. They gave you everything. So that goes to the 14th Amendment status. That's what they gave you. They gave you a contract and said, yo, if you promise to be our slaves, our contract slaves, we won't have you in bondage no more. But everything that you do, your work, your labor, everything, that's all. We tell you, we control all of that. So if you be our slaves, we'll give you privileges and immunity. How does that sound? Ain't that good, brother? You didn't have nothing before. I'm gonna give you privileges and immunity. Ain't gonna be like them. Ain't gonna be like us. But you ain't gonna get beat in the street no more, my nigga. How about that? We ain't gonna hang you up from the street, from the tree no more, and we ain't gonna whoop you. Not out on the open. Now in the backwoods, maybe I can't say it about the backwoods, but in the open, we ain't gonna do that no more. We gonna give you privileges and immunities, bro. How about that? That's what the fuck you being in that system is. A 14th Amendment citizen. How does that go? Right here. 14th Amendment. See, my Constitution is ripping up. I read this motherfucker so much it's tearing up. This is how y'all Constitution should be. It shouldn't even, should be just like this. So, all persons born in the United States and naturalized, all persons born in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. No state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges or immunities of citizens of the United States, nor shall any state deprive any person, which is another legal term. It didn't say natural persons, it said person. Look up natural persons legally. Or deprive any person, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor deny to any person, again, within its jurisdiction, the equal protection of the laws. Now, not one word right is in there. The word rights is nowhere in there. which means you don't have them. You only have privileges and immunities until they tell you that you don't. And you're going back and you keep trying to make a system work that was never built to make you work, because it's built off of your own system. It's built off of your shit. Their whole system is built off of your shit. It's a copy. Go get this book. I've shown y'all this before. Exemplar of Liberty. This book right there shows how the colonists studied under the Aboriginals for 20-something years before they wrote the Constitution. They got all of their shit, all of your shit, everything, and they built it off of that. Not only that, the only reason that the America is a viable government is because the Aboriginal government was the very first ones to recognize them when they came together as a country. Meaning, in international law, in order for you to be viable in international law with any other countries, one viable actual country has to trade with you, has to recognize you as an actual country. The first country to do that with America was the Aboriginals, the Iroquois, the Six Nations. This is why they're so revered in America. This is why you don't understand the power that you have. You were here first. You gave them the permission to even have a government here. You don't even know that. But it's written in their law. Go look up United States Code Title 25. It's called Indian Affairs. It's all about your shit. How they hold land in trust. The Aboriginals land in trust. It says that. They're trustees of the land. They got it in trust. Go to the Bureau of Indian Affairs.com. This is where you'll see all this shit. Indian Bureau of Affairs. Or go to the Office of, what is it? Hold on, I got it right here. Hold up. Go to, damn, what is it? Damn. It's like, oh, the Office of the Interior. So go to either look up the Bureau of Indian Affairs or Office of the Interior. Office of the Interior is where they have all the Aboriginal land held. It's called the Land Act, land holdings and investments. And they show you what they're doing is how much money they make off the Native American land every year. And they say they're distributing it. But if you go look at the bank accounts, what they mean by distributing it is just they're putting some of the money in the bank accounts. But then when you go and look up who claimed any of the money in the bank account, nobody. It's zero. When they say claimants, it's zero claimants. They're holding 550 million acres of land. And if you don't go get it, what they doing is making money off of it. Then what they do is they take that money, again, they break you off a little bit into the bank account, because that's legally what they have to do, international law. Excuse me, they have to chip you off a little bit. But then they take most of that money and then they put it in the stock market. Invest that stock, and they invest it in the stock market. Not for you, they get to keep that money. The principal is going to be yours. Whenever they make the money, the principal is still yours, or the beneficiaries of the land, the trustees, but then they get to keep all the profit. They're making billions and trillions off of your investment, off the land, off the money that they're making off the land that you own, that they have in trust for you. And you don't even know that shit. Because you're going back and you're trying to get reparations as black people, as descendants of slaves, when you were never really slaves. Not most of y'all. Only about 3 out of 10 of y'all can trace your lineage back to slavery. Most of you guys, again, were Aboriginals. It was here. They flipped your status in the 1790 census. And this is why this census is so important. There's this 2020 census that just happened. See, again, you guys are going and asking for these handouts. Yo, please, can we get some reparations? Please, can we get a little piece? Please, can I get that little piece of bread your son left on my table? Again, your son left on my table. But again, you got all of this shit. Everything is yours. So, let's see. So, the government the government is holding, like I said, 530 something acres, 550 million acres, excuse me, of land for Aboriginals who are able to come back in your correct status. You have to come back in your correct status and be able to claim this land. Now, how do you do that? That's what most people you're asking me. Well, man, this is crazy shit, nigga. How you be talking about all this shit, nigga? How you find your status, nigga? Nigga, you be just talking shit and don't be leaving no solutions. Well, all I do is give y'all niggas solutions, so y'all full of shit on that one. However, to go find your status, you got to go do some history and some research into your family history. You got to go back and find your grandmoms and your aunt and your great aunts and your aunties and all the rest of the, and your uncles and all that, and ask them what the, what I'm saying, where do we, were we slaves, or do we got any Native American stories or Indian stories in our family? And why do you want to be called Indian? This is a very important thing. Why you want to be called Indian and not Native American? Because Indian, everything is legal. We're not doing regular everyday terms. When you're dealing with the law, you have to do legal terms. So again, Indian, the Aboriginal inhabitants of North America. That's why you want to call yourself an Indian, all right? Or Aboriginal, because Aboriginal is already mentioned in here. But that's who you are. Now, it doesn't mean that that you're mixed up with the Indians from West Indies or anything like that. I know a lot of people don't like to be called Indian, but Indian legally means the Aboriginal inhabitants of North America, which Aboriginal means you, the first in time. It's only a few people who are the Aboriginal, which is why that is a very important status for you to be able to take, is Aboriginal, not Native American. So going to the Black Lives Matter, going back to the ADOS, this is why American descendants of slaves, you're not going to, so ADOS, somebody hit me and said ADOS, showed me ADOS got some law passed in California where I am, AB 3121 or something like that, where it was a reparations bill or something like that. Now, hate to tell you, that law is a piece of shit. I read that whole goddamn law, every single word. And the first thing I could have told you, that was written by a nigga. I could have told you that right off the bat. It was written by somebody melanated. Then, within the law doesn't state that they're going to give any reparations. All it says is it's a law that to convene a task force to study slavery. All it is basically the same law, the same bill that they put on HR 40. They had to bill HR 40, which is the same bill in the federal law to convene a task force to study slavery. Okay, so because the whole thing is they lied about slavery so goddamn much, no one really knows what slavery is. Everybody got their nobody knows. It's there. I mean, America has it in the archives if you go really look, but most people don't. Most people go off of historians and bullshit. That was the bullshit lies that's fed through you through the school system, because they want you to believe a certain thing about slavery because it helps keep their system lifted if you keep believing that you were slaves. But you weren't slaves. Again, I mean, you were. Some of you were, but most of you weren't slaves. Most of you, the slave trade went in opposite. They just broke that down. How Columbus, when he came over here, the first slaves that was taken was from over here. He took them back over to Spain. That's really the slave trade. Was in reverse. The transatlantic slave trade, they say, was started when Columbus took slaves from America over to Europe, not the other way around. And so that was really the thing. Why in the hell would there be? I mean, this is the biggest dumb shit that y'all believe in history. I can't believe, I don't want to insult nobody, but goddamn, you got to be some dumb motherfuckers to believe that if I got all these niggas here on this land in front of me that I just rolled up on, why in the hell would I go way the hell over to Africa to go enslave some niggas where a landmass I ain't never been? I don't know nothing about the terrain. I don't know nothing about the people. I don't know shit about that. But I'm about to travel all the way, take this big ass boats all the way over to Africa and go and fucking enslave all these damn people who on their own landmass would have far better of a chance beating my ass than me, even no matter what weapons I have, because I don't know the terrain. I don't know the environment, the ecosystem. I don't know any of that shit. Obviously, these motherfuckers they picked a slave that was right next to them. If I got a Native American right here, why the fuck do I know to get a Native African? They're the same motherfuckers. Come on, people. This is a goddamn lie so that to keep y'all in the bullshit. So why are they doing this? And why is it so important that you guys get into your right status? Again, America is moving towards this one world shit. It's in full crank up. This is why you see them really mashing out trying to get Trump out of there. I know y'all may not like Trump, which ain't much to like, but the only thing you probably can like is he holding the one world order shit off. Only because he a narcissist and he doing it for his own personal gain. But that nigga is holding that shit off. He ain't doing it because he love America. He doing it because he got his own shit he dealing with. But as long as he in there, they can't put the one world order together. This is the problem. That's why you see all this the one world, the stoppage of the world, because they can't do shit because America is the head of the whole shit. And so until they get Trump out of there and they're able to restart the goddamn the wheels on that one world shit, which America is the major part of the shit, they're not gonna be able to do anything. So they're really rushing trying to get that nigga out of there. That's what's going on. So, but what does this mean for you? You're in the down part right now, where you can be learning so much shit. You should be mastering the stock market and bond game. That's really what you should be doing. Any of y'all out there, you should be mastering stocks and bonds. That's the number one main of the game, which is why I showed y'all in the last video, I tried to break down what the game really was. It's phantom, you're trading phantom shit. It's not real shit. So get in the game and play it. You ain't trading real, it's phantom stock. It's made up stock, just like it's made up money. It's a game, so just learn the game. It literally is Monopoly. Just a high level advanced Monopoly game. But if you go and get in and learn the goddamn system, you can make a gang of money doing that shit. So that's what you should be mastering. Seriously, the last part, the last end of this goddamn year, the 2020, fuck 2020, let's get it up out of here. But you should be motherfucking mastering stocks and bonds. Seriously, that is a major game that you can get into, and you can work and you can make money. You can make all kind of money just every day doing day trades, doing trading options. That's a whole nother thing. But that's one thing that you should be getting into. But the other thing is they're about to start implementing this the mandatory vaccines. What are you gonna do when they come at your ass with that? Is AD